Hello friends, this is Will Dodd with Georgia Youth Science and Technology Centers, and I'm going to show you how to level the print bed on this Ender3 printer right here. So what we'll need is just a regular sheet of printer paper. I think it's called an A4 printer paper or something like that, but that's what we're going to be using, so let's check it out. So first things, I have a clean print bed. I cleaned off this print bed. Again, I'm using a magnetic build plate. I totally recommend you get a magnetic build plate because it's so easy to get your parts off. So again, I've cleaned the bed, and now I'm going to auto home my 3D printer. So on the main screen of my 3D printer, I'm just going to go to the little menu. I'm going to go down to prepare, and I'm going to select auto home. Now what that's going to do on my 3D printer is it's going to take the nozzle down to that far left corner there. And the biggest thing that it's going to do is make sure that my Z-axis is at 0. Because what I want is for that nozzle that you see coming down there, you want that nozzle to touch the build plate just enough so that I can slide that printer paper in between the nozzle and the print bed. So let's get to that now. Now at this point I do need to make a disclaimer. I always level my bed cold. I'm sure there's people that would be horrified at that fact, but yeah, I just use a cold print bed to level because it just seems to work for my purposes. Now if you're doing something like prototyping some piece that's going to go on a machine, you might want to heat your print bed to get a real definite bed level, but I just never have had a problem with it. So anyway, I'm going to continue on now. After auto homing my printer, I want to disable my stepper motors by going to prepare and disable steppers. What this does, it allows me to move the nozzle around by hand. Now you may not be able to see it very well from this angle, but my nozzle, my print nozzle here, is just like a millimeter off of my print bed once it's auto homed. It's not so much of a problem for me, but I've already disabled my steppers, so I can just slide around my nozzle on my print bed. So what I'm going to do is go to the first corner right here, just kind of line up the nozzle on the first front left corner. And I'm going to slide my piece of printer paper between the nozzle and the print bed. And if I can pull it out pretty easily, I have a little bit of tug, I'm good. That works. So what I'm going to do now is slide, since this is level here, I'm going to go ahead and slide my nozzle over to the right hand corner. And I'm going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to put the printer paper underneath the nozzle, in between the nozzle and the print bed, and there's just a little too much tug right there for my liking. So what I'm going to do is turn this wheel just a touch. Alright, so I'm turning it counter-clockwise, which is going to bring the bed down just a little bit. So let me go ahead and try this again. Oh, and it looks like maybe I turned it the wrong way. No, I'm the right way. Yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to adjust this wheel by turning it counterclockwise to bring the bed up a little bit, and then clockwise to bring the bed down a little bit if I need to. And I like where it's at right there, so I'm good. So I'm just going to repeat the same process with the two back corners of my print bed. Just going to slide my print bed out, put my piece of printer paper in there, and I'm happy with the amount of tug I'm feeling right there. If I wasn't, I would just reach up under and move the wheel either clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way I needed to move it. And I'm going to do the same thing to the last corner here. And I'm just going to feel that tug, which you can't really see real well from this angle, but yeah, I'm happy with that. There's a little bit of a tug there. So at this point, if I wasn't happy with how level the bed was, I could just go back around to each corner and make sure that it has a good tug on that piece of printer paper. But because I'm happy with what I have, I'm going to go ahead and print a test print from my computer. So follow me to my computer. I'm looking at Astro Print right now, and this file right here Ender3 bed level STL. Really what it is just a square that's the size of the print bed itself with a smaller square in the middle. So I have all my settings set up the way I want it, except I don't want any support material on this. And 20% fill density is fine because it's really not going to have any fill because it's just a bunch of tiny lines. So what I'm going to do is slice this file, and it's going to generate a G-code file. Should be popping up anywhere here. Where'd it go? AstroPrint, what's up? Alright, let me find my G-code file. There it is, Ender3 bed level, one print file. Alright, so I'm going to click on this print file, and I'm going to download it, and I'm going to go ahead and stick it on my SD card. So I have my bed level test print file on the SD card, and I've already inserted it into my 3D printer. But before I do anything else, I need to go ahead and put a little layer of good old Elmer's glue stick. And what that does for you is it just helps your print stick on the bed a little bit better. I've gotten away with not using any of this. However, when I do a longer print, you know, like a 2-hour plus print, and I'm a little worried about warping occurring, this really helps out. So I'm just going to put a thin layer on the print bed, like so. And just fill in. So it can be thin. And usually I'll go many prints without adding any glue onto this. But when you do, you can just add glue over the top. I'm going to move my nozzle here to get some there. Yeah, and we should be set. So I'm going to go ahead in my main screen. I'm going to change SD card because I just stuck it in, so I need to refresh it. I'm going to do print from SD card, and I'm going to go down to Ender3 bed level. And that should start printing. So we'll see how it turns out. The file's printing, and it's looking pretty good so far. What I like to see on these lines that are printing out is a good smushed line of filament that's stuck really well to the print bed. So I like what I'm seeing so far. I don't see anything where the print is peeling off the bed premature. My print is done. So if I pull out my print bed here, I can actually pull off my magnetic print bed, which is so great. If I take a look at my print quality, everything seems to be well formed on the print bed. The only complaint I would have is this back left corner. You can see it's not quite as thick as the rest of the print. And what that indicates to me is that the bed is just a little too high in that back left corner. So the way to fix that is if I go around to the back left corner of my 3D printer, I can actually turn that counter-clockwise just a touch, and that's going to lower the print bed just enough for me to have that level. Now, usually what I would do is print another one of these test prints and just double check that back left corner. However, at this point I'm pretty confident that I have it leveled well enough for my purposes. So what I'm going to do is just clean off this print from the print bed, and I'm set to go. So I'll see you in the next episode.